Time now to update Hand Artifact Fire Fist Half Dot deck. This is the build that I took with me to locals today and got got third place with. And overall, I like the way the deck worked. Although there is definitely some room for improvement. I'll go through those little bits of discussion points as I go through the deck. So start off with just the moral tax. Did not run Beagle Tack today. To be perfectly honest though, like I wanted to, I felt like Beagle Tack was a bit weird. It is a horrible card to draw. But being perfectly honest, it would not have come amiss today because there were actually a fair few times when I had one or two of these set and usually it would end up with a handful of other back rows, and it was those other back rows that kept getting hit, not the moral attack, which kind of sucked. In one case, I actually got end phase MST'd. So, yeah, in one case when this thing actually did get MST'd, it was the end phase of the turn on which I just set it. That's how I was supposed to word that, but I can't talk. So yeah, just those. If I ever build this deck again, I'm definitely trying out Beagle Tack again. So we have triple Fire Hand, triple Ice Hand, about as standard as you can get for this thing. I will miss it being at 3 when it does get put to something like 2 or 1, because it will be saddening. And then Fire Fist Engine is the triple Bear, Gorilla, and Wolfbark. Most of the time, last week I would side the Gorilla out, didn't think it was actually useful, but there was a handful of games where I actually quite liked the Gorilla and instead sided one of my bears out, like Fire Kings being one of the bigger matchups, and I think Boojins as well. Both of those matchups I sided a bear out and kept the Gorilla in. For the spells, continuing on with the Fire Fist Engine of the deck, Triple Tenki and Tensu. Tensu actually did come in pretty handy. I usually sided it out. It was usually one of the first things that I sided out, but in the games which I did, I believe I did get it off in one game, and it helped me out a little bit. I was quite content. It's an extra pot basically for bear or Gorilla. Then Double Pot of Duality. Despite being a 2, I actually opened with this quite a lot. I was actually quite surprised. I may consider trying this out at 3. Although if I do that, I feel like I probably might end up opening with like 2 of them, which would be kind of horrible. 1's perfectly fine, so see what happens. I'll have to do some playtesting with it at 3. Dichotomy, did not drop this at all. I had it in my hand in one game, but I didn't have any reason to drop it because I pretty much had full advantage of that game. So, and it was sided out every game. But it's pretty much just there for the recycling, and because you'd rather use that than using up resources and going for an emerald. Double Lance. Double Lance was good. It put in some good protection. Soul Charge, I got this off once. It gave me a reason to not drop it. That one time that I did use it, because it was actually pretty handy. I think I got like Rhapsody off of it or something, or I don't know, I can't remember for the life of me what it was. So that's that. Traps, Triple Sanctum, pretty straightforward. I did actually get it, there was only one case in which I actually got the Sanctum's own destruction effect off. The only target was El Shadow Window. Lovely. Wasn't it just? Double Wiretap. Put in all the protection. Double Fiendish. Like I said, MST is a thing, and it did get MST'd I think once or twice, which kind of sucked, but it is what it is. I may actually consider siding Breakthroughs in just to replace the Fiendishes in those particular matchups. Double Call the Haunted. Pretty easy to just side one of these out, actually. It's quite effective. Double D Prison, because he just deals with shit like Garunix. And Hands. Compulse. Bottomless. Torrential. Warning. Black Horn of Heaven. And this is actually the ironic thing. I actually cut the Beagle Tack for the Compulse, and this actually put in a fair bit of work. I mean, unlike the Blackhorn, I could easily just side this, to be perfectly honest, for the Beagle attack, because I believe I saw Blackhorn a grand total of once, and it got MST pretty quickly, which sucked, because MST totally negates, but that's a different story. But anyways, extra deck. Once again, if it's higher than rank 4, it was not seen at all today. So, Gaia Dragon, Pleiades, Durandal, Volcasaurus, did not opt for Tyrus. I initially planned to replace Tyrus with Wonder Arsenal Zenmaio. At least actually that might have actually been what I had in the previous half deck. I can't remember for the life of me, but point is, I cut it because I didn't really have anywhere near as many options for rank 5s without the Beagle attack, so I just pretty much stuck with the bare essentials. As for the rank 4s, Volchain, Chain, worst rank 4 in the deck, without a shadow of a doubt. It might have worked. It might work a little bit better it might work. Well, cannot talk. It might work a little bit better in Hat because you can just dump a Mimoleo and get Call the Haunted. But in this build, it's atrocious. Don't run it. I mean, I suppose it does take a little bit of getting used to, but it was just, I did not like it. I only got it off once. Emerald, never got this thing off, but it's pretty much just game 2 and 3, you don't have your dichotomy because you side that shit out. Honorak, yeah, he just puts in the work. Black Ship, never saw him today. Tiger King, I saw round 1, and I think round 3. And I think that's about it. Kangorgan, never saw him. It would actually have been nice to have him in certain situations to avoid, just to make sure Dragon hits the right freaking card. Castell, got him off a couple of times. He was very, very useful. And I actually managed to counter one of him as well. Abyss Dweller, can't say I'm too surprised at not ever seeing him. Polar opposite of Cowboy, in which I won 4 games with its Piao Piao effect, which quite astonished me. Then Ragnar Zero, which I didn't see, and number 80, Rhapsody, because busted. And I got a 3500 Tiger King round 1. And I actually did put in some other work with it against Boojins and Fire Kings, so at least I think Fire Kings. Was it Fire Kings? No, I don't believe it was Fire Kings. But I did get it to work against Boojins, which was quite nice. And so I had a 3200 Castell on board, which was kind of hilarious. For the side deck, this is the topic of greatest discussion, because the side deck I had last week was just, it was a side deck that I had planned for my Hat deck, and then I just didn't plain and simply didn't change it, and got screwed over. So I had double DD Crow and double Max C. I only ever sided in Max C against the Viking matchup because it does spam. It was the one deck that I played against that spammed a lot of special summoning. I mean, aside from Shadows, but Shadows don't really do that much in terms of special summoning. I didn't really think Max C was that applicable there. Mind you, one of the Shadow matchups went for the one goddamn game, so I didn't even have the opportunity to side in against that one in round 2. So that was a thing, and Diddy Crow just, he does shit. Mind Control, sided this in a couple times, never saw it. I might probably just take it out, because once again, it's just one of those one-offs things. Dark Hole, for some reason Dark Hole likes to show itself, although I believe I sided this in a couple of times and never saw it. I don't know about this one. Like, for Mind Control, I'm almost certainly going to cut it, but for that one, it's a bit of a question. Triple MST, sided this in pretty much just about everything. Like, it was especially Chainbeat, because Chainbeat just had all of the friggin' back rows, although I believe I only saw one MST in Game 2 against that deck. Debunk, got off a couple of times, always puts in the work. DNA Surgery, I had this, I literally saw this once when I top decked it, but I beat the Boojin matchup that turn. That's how, yeah, I sealed the win that turn. Same thing with Shadow Mirror. I only sided this in against the top 8 Shadow matchup. And it was one of the back row I had, but against Winder, it's useless. I was hoping I'd get like something else to get the Winder off the board, and then I just didn't. So Shadow Mirror didn't work out quite as well as I would have liked, but considering the scarcity of dark-based decks that I was running, can't exactly fault the card itself. So I'm definitely, I feel like I should probably put maybe a little bit more Bujin hate and Shadow hate, because they seem to be the most commonly seen ones. The thing is, I can never ever I can't really ever bloody take my eye off spellbooks, because spellbooks fucking float around everywhere at my local. So probably just, but thankfully GD Crow and DNA Surgery sort of serve multiple tasks, because you can side them in against both spellbooks and Bujins. But that's it for Half Dot deck. At this rate, the bits and pieces that I need should be showing up at some point early this week, which will mean next local will most likely be me rolling the full Hat deck, and hopefully getting actual good use out of Flavarval Chain, unlike today. But yeah, that's it. See you for whatever it is that I do next.